Imagine traveling back in time, way, way back, to when there was nothing but darkness and silence. But wait, what's that? Boom. Suddenly, there's a flash of light, and the story of our world begins. Imagine traveling back in time ago, way, before there was anything at all, to when there was nothing but darkness, no moon, and silence, not even a single star. But wait, what's that? Boom. Suddenly, there's a flash of light, and the story of our world begins. Imagine traveling back in time, way, way, way back, to when there was nothing but dark and silence, way, way back. But wait, to when there was nothing but darkness and silence. Suddenly, but wait, there's a flash of light, and the story of our world begins. Suddenly, there's a flash of light, and the story of our world begins. Before there was anything at all. Imagine traveling back in time ago, not even a single star, to when there was nothing but darkness and silence. It was like the world was waiting for something amazing to happen. And then, suddenly, in the blink of an eye, God decided to start creating. Imagine traveling back a long time, way, with a voice as powerful as when there was no dark and silence, way, way back. But wait, when there was nothing but darkness and silence. Suddenly, but wait, there's a flash of light, and the story of our world begins. Suddenly, there's a flash of light, and the story of our world. No, a long story of our world said, "Let there be light," and boom! A long story of our world. There was light everywhere. It was bright and warm, chasing away the darkness. God looked at the light and smiled. It was good. Said, he called the light "Let there be light," and the darkness night. And boom! And that was the very first day of creation. There was light everywhere. It was bright and warm. On the second day, chasing away God had another brilliant idea. God looked at the light. He looked at the water covering everything. It was good, and decided to create something truly spectacular. And the darkness night. And with a wave of his hand, he made the sky. There was light. It was like a huge, beautiful dome. On the second day, God had another brilliant idea. The sky was a place where clouds could float, and birds could someday fly. God saw the sky, stretching out like a giant blue blanket, and thought it was perfect. And that was the second day. God had another brilliant idea. God was on a roll. He looked at the water covering everything. He looked at the water and decided to create let the water gather together in one place, so that dry land his hand he made the sky. And just like that, it was mountains rose up, beautiful valleys on the second day, and dry land another brilliant idea. But God wasn't done yet. He covered the land with all kinds of plants, tall trees, colourful flowers, and tasty fruits and vegetables. The world was starting to look really amazing, and God saw that it was good. And that was the third day. And dry land another. Now it was time to add some sparkle to the sky. On the fourth day, God created the sun to shine during the day, filling the world with warmth and light. But when night came, he didn't leave it in darkness. No way. Imagine traveling back in time, stretching out like a giant blue blanket.
The group encounters a beautiful mirage. At first, it seems like a trick of the desert, shimmering with images of lush greenery and cool waters. But Hagar, with her keen eye and brave heart, touches the mirage and realizes it's an enchanted portal. With a leap of faith and trust in each other, they step through and find themselves much closer to the oasis. The mirage was a test of their faith, just as many stories in the Bible test the faith of those who follow their path. Through the portal, they meet Toby, the wise old tortoise, who shares stories of the desert's secrets and teaches them about inner strength and perseverance. Toby's tales are filled with wisdom, much like the Proverbs of the Bible, and he teaches Hagar that true strength comes from within. He gives Hagar a magical amulet that glows when they are on the right path, a symbol of their growing wisdom and strength. The journey brings them to a sparkling stream guarded by a family of playful otters. The otters, with their mischievous grins and joyful antics, challenge Hagar and her friends to a fun game of riddles and races, promising to reveal the next clue to the oasis if they win. The stream's cool waters and the otters' laughter remind Hagar of the importance of joy and friendship, even in challenging times. As night falls, Hagar and her friends to a fun game of riddles and races, lighting up their way with a gentle glow to the oasis. The desert transforms under the moonlight, looking almost magical and dreamlike. They follow the glowing petals, which create a path leading them ever closer to their goal. The blooming flower symbolizes hope and guidance, much like the guiding star in biblical tales, leading them through the darkest parts of their journey. As they near the oasis, the group meets Luna, the guardian of the oasis, a majestic white owl with wise, sparkling eyes. Luna tests their courage and kindness, ensuring they are worthy of the oasis's gifts. Her questions and challenges are reminiscent of the parables in the Bible, teaching them valuable lessons about compassion and bravery. Only by proving their hearts and spirits can they gain entry to the hidden sanctuary. At long last, they reach the hidden oasis, a paradise with lush greenery, sparkling waters, and abundant life. Here, Hagar drinks from the magical spring, feeling a surge of strength and wisdom flow through her. Her friends celebrate with her, knowing they've all grown from this incredible journey. The oasis is a reward for their faith and perseverance, a reminder that true strength comes from within and is nurtured by love and friendship. With newfound strength and wisdom, Hagar returns home with her friends. The journey has taught them about friendship, courage, and the power of hope. Hagar shares her story with everyone in her village, inspiring them to believe in themselves and their dreams. Her tale, echoing the ancient biblical journey, reminds everyone that with faith and determination, even the most challenging paths can lead to beautiful destinations. As Hagar and her friends returned home, their hearts were filled with strength and wisdom from their incredible journey. They had discovered that with courage, friendship, and hope, even the most daunting challenges could be overcome. Just like the Hagar from the ancient tales, our Hagar showed that true strength comes from within, and so they all lived happily, inspired by the lessons of the desert and ready for any adventure that lay ahead.
Once upon a time, in a bustling city called Joppa, a seaport on the Mediterranean coast, there lived a young man named Jonah. Jonah was known for his adventurous spirit and his love for the sea. He spent his days exploring the docks, watching ships sail off into the horizon and dreaming of far-off lands. But little did he know that his next escapade would be the most extraordinary one yet. Coast. There lived a young man named Jonah. God's voice echoed in his adventurous spirit and his love for the sea. Go to Nineveh and warn its people about their wicked ways, but Jonah, being the adventurous soul he was, decided to take a detour. Instead of heading to Nineveh, he boarded a ship bound for Tarshish, a city known for its exotic spices and vibrant markets. As the ship sailed across the sparkling blue sea, a fierce storm brewed. Waves crashed against the vessel, threatening to swallow it whole. The sailors panicked, tossing cargo overboard, praying to their gods for mercy. Meanwhile, Jonah, blissfully asleep below deck, remained oblivious to the chaos above. Just when things seemed dire, a massive shadow loomed beneath the ship. The sailors gasped as a colossal whale breached the surface. Its mouth opened wide, and Jonah found himself tumbling into the whale's belly. But instead of darkness and despair, Jonah discovered a cozy chamber filled with luminescent seaweed and glowing fish. "Hello there," said the whale, its voice echoing. "I'm Whaley, the friendliest whale in the sea. Welcome to my humble abode." Jonah blinked in surprise. "You can talk?" "Of course," Whaley replied. "I've been waiting for a visitor. You see, I've got a secret, a treasure hidden deep within me." Whaley swam to a corner of the chamber and nudged a chest. Jonah opened it, revealing a dusty old scroll. Unrolling it, he gasped it was a map. Not just any map, but a detailed one showing the winding streets of Nineveh, complete with tiny illustrations of mischievous cats and bustling marketplaces. Jonah Whaley said, "This map holds the key to Nineveh's heart. If you follow it, you'll find not just the city's physical streets, but also its hopes, dreams, and hidden kindness." Jonah's heart raced. "But why entrust this to me?" Because Whaley replied, "You're the only one who can bridge the gap between land and sea, between prophecy and adventure. Go, my friend, and share the map with Nineveh. Show them that compassion can change their course." Jonah swam out of Whaley's belly, clutching the precious map. Back in Nineveh, he unrolled it before the people. Their eyes widened as they traced the streets, their hearts stirred by the illustrations. Jonah spoke of compassion, forgiveness, and second chances. And you know what? The people listened. From the lowliest beggar to the Grand Vizier, they turned from their wicked ways.
He has not gone.
Even the cats stopped chasing mice. God, seeing their sincere repentance, spared Nineveh from destruction.
He has not gone.
Jonah, now wearing a snorkel because why not, grinned. "Whaley," he said, "you're a true friend." The people of Nineveh celebrated their newfound goodness with a massive parade. Jonah rode atop Whaley's back, waving to the crowd. The fish swam alongside, blowing bubbles in delight. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, Jonah realized that sometimes the most unexpected friendships lead to the greatest transformations. And that, my friends, is the tale of Jonah and the big fish, a whale of a tale that reminds us to be compassionate, even when faced with slimy situations. Remember, kids, adventure awaits. Just be sure to follow God's GPS next time.
Welcome, adventurers. Today on the Psalms Explorer, we're exploring Psalm 139, the mystery of the hidden treasure. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in behind, and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me, your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. If only you, God, would slay the wicked. Away from me, you who are bloodthirsty. They speak of you with evil intent. Your adversaries misuse your name.
Oh, the sea.
Do I not hate those who hate you, Lord, and abhor those who are in rebellion against you? I have nothing but hatred for them. I count them my enemies. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me, and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting.
Once upon a time, in the rolling hills of the land of Israel, there lived a kind and gentle woman named Hannah. Hannah lived in the town of Ramah with her husband, Elkanah, who loved her dearly. But there was a cloud that hung over Hannah's heart. She had no children. In those days, this was a great sadness, and it weighed heavily on her soul. Hannah's story begins during the annual trip to Shiloh, where people from all over Israel came to worship the Lord. As the sun rose and painted the sky with hues of pink and gold, the family prepared for their journey. The streets buzzed with excitement as families packed their belongings, ready to set off. Elkanah was a kind and generous man who cared deeply for Hannah. He noticed her sadness and always tried to cheer her up. "Hannah, my love, why do you weep?" he asked gently as they walked along the dusty path. "Am I not more to you than 10 sons?" Hannah managed a small smile, appreciating his words, but deep down her longing for a child remained. They travelled on, the scenery shifting from the bustling town to the serene countryside, where wildflowers danced in the breeze and birds sang joyful songs. As they reached Shiloh, the town was alive with the sound of laughter and the scent of roasted meat and fresh bread wafting through the air. People greeted each other warmly, their faces glowing with happiness. Yet, amidst the joyous celebrations, Hannah's heart felt heavy. On the day of the sacrifice, Hannah's emotions became too overwhelming to contain. She slipped away from the festive crowd, seeking solitude in the quiet sanctuary of the temple. Inside, the flickering light of the lamps cast long shadows, creating a solemn atmosphere.
So where is she?
With tears streaming down her face, Hannah knelt before the altar. She poured out her heart to the Lord, her voice barely a whisper. "O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your maidservant and remember me, and not forget your maidservant, but will give your maidservant a male child, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life." As she prayed, she wept bitterly, her body trembling with the intensity of her plea. She prayed so fervently that her lips moved, but no sound came out. The high priest Eli, sitting nearby, noticed her unusual behavior. Thinking she was drunk, he approached her with a stern expression. "How long will you be drunk?" "Put away your wine," he scolded. Hannah looked up, her eyes red and puffy from crying. "No, my lord," she replied earnestly. "I am a woman of sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor intoxicating drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord." Eli's stern expression softened as he realized her sincerity. "Go in peace," he said kindly, "and may the God of Israel grant your petition which you have asked of him." Hannah left the temple with a glimmer of hope in her heart.
So this is her.
She wiped her tears and joined her family,
So which means
feeling a
that man did
sense
not
of
even look
peace
for
that she
the
hadn't felt
girl.
in a long time. Months passed, and Hannah's heart was still filled with the memory of her prayer. She held on to her faith, trusting that God had heard her. Then, one bright morning, as the first rays of sunlight peeked over the horizon, Hannah felt something different. Could it be? Her heart raced with anticipation. Days turned into weeks, and soon it became clear Hannah was going to have a baby. Her joy knew no bounds. She laughed and cried tears of happiness, her face glowing with the light of her miracle. Elkanah shared in her joy, lifting her off the ground and twirling her around. The entire town of Ramah buzzed with the news of Hannah's blessing. Friends and neighbors visited her, bringing gifts and sharing in her excitement. Hannah's home was filled with the sound of laughter and celebration, a stark contrast to the silence that once haunted her. As her belly grew round and full, Hannah spent her days preparing for the arrival of her precious child. She wove tiny garments from the softest wool and sang lullabies while rocking in her chair. Her heart overflowed with gratitude to the Lord, who had answered her prayer. The day finally arrived when Hannah gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. She and Elkanah named him Samuel, which means asked of God, holding Samuel in her arms. Hannah's heart swelled with love and awe. She knew that Samuel was a special gift, destined for a great purpose. True to her vow, Hannah remembered her promise to the Lord. When Samuel was old enough, she and Elkanah traveled to Shiloh once again, this time with their precious son.
You're still here.
The journey was filled with anticipation and a touch of sadness, knowing they were about to fulfill their solemn promise. Upon arriving at the temple, Hannah approached Eli, who was now much older but still serving as the high priest. With Samuel in her arms, she spoke with a voice full of emotion. "Oh, my Lord, as your soul lives, my Lord, I am the woman who stood by you here, praying to the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord has granted me my petition which I asked of him. Therefore, I also have lent him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he shall be lent to the Lord." Eli's eyes softened as he looked at the young boy. He blessed Samuel and prayed for God's guidance and protection over him.
Did they tell you what
Hannah's
happened?
heart ached at the thought
The
of
person
leaving
that
her
told her I
son,
didn't take it said
but
that
she
she was
knew it
going
was
to
part
make
of
it
God's
coming. Next
greater
thing the children
plan.
saw it and started shouting.
As
that they
Hannah
want
and
to eat in the
Elkanah made their way back to Ramah, a mix of emotions swirled within her. She missed Samuel dearly, but also felt an overwhelming sense of peace and fulfillment. Her heart was filled with a song of thanksgiving,
I can always
a
drive
melody
down
that echoed her gratitude and faith. Hannah's
Children
song of
say no.
thanksgiving became known
They're
throughout the
fine.
land,
They want
a
the
testament to her unwavering faith and the miraculous answer to her prayer. Her words were a beautiful
Don't worry,
blend of joy and reverence, praising
Just
God
go,
for his mercy and
Try to
greatness.
carry. Now,
My
I
heart
don't know why they are
rejoices in the
doing
Lord, my
those things.
horn is exalted in the Lord. I smile at my enemies because I
think
rejoice
he's
in your
looking for someone.
salvation. No one is holy like the
I
Lord,
think he was
for
looking
there
for
is none
person that
besides
will go
you,
with.
nor is there any rock like
No,
our
he was
God.
looking for the person that he'll go with. It can't be because
Her
of this
song
name.
continued, filled with
can't be.
poetic imagery and profound truths. It was a song that resonated with all who heard it, reminding them of the power of prayer and the faithfulness of God. Samuel grew up in the temple under the guidance of Eli. He was a bright and curious boy, always eager to learn and help. The temple was his playground, and he found joy in the daily routines and rituals. One night, as Samuel lay in his bed, he heard a voice calling his name. "Samuel, Samuel." Startled, he jumped out of bed and ran to Eli's room. "Here I am, for you called me," he said. But Eli shook his head. "I did not call, lie down again." Samuel returned to his bed, puzzled. This happened 3 times, and each time, Eli assured him he hadn't called. Finally, Eli realized that it was the Lord calling the boy. "Go, lie down, and it shall be. If he calls you, that you must say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant hears.'" Samuel did as Eli instructed. When the voice called again, Samuel responded, "Speak, Lord, for your servant hears." The Lord spoke to Samuel, revealing his plans for Israel. From that day on, Samuel grew in wisdom and stature, and the Lord was with him. As Samuel grew into a man, he became a prophet and a judge over Israel. His life was a testament to the power of faith and the fulfillment of God's promises. He led the people with wisdom and integrity, always seeking the Lord's guidance. Hannah's heart swelled with pride and joy as she watched her son fulfill his divine purpose. She often visited him in Shiloh, bringing him new garments and sharing in his triumphs and challenges. Her faith had been rewarded in ways she could never have imagined. Hannah's story spread far and wide, inspiring countless others to trust in God's plan and remain steadfast in their faith. Her legacy of hope and perseverance continued to shine brightly, a beacon of light for all who faced their own struggles and doubts. In the quiet moments of her life, Hannah would often sit by the window, gazing at the stars and reflecting on her journey. She knew that her story was not just about her, but about the boundless love and mercy of the Lord. It was a story of miracles, faith, and the incredible power of a heartfelt prayer. And so Hannah's prayer became a timeless reminder that no matter how impossible a situation may seem, with faith and trust in God, miracles can and do happen. Her story, filled with vibrant colours, whimsical adventures and unwavering faith, continues to captivate the hearts of children and adults alike, drawing them closer to the love and grace of the Lord. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more whimsical and colourful tales from the Bible. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss an exciting new story. Share this video with your friends and family and let us know in the comments what other Bible stories you'd like to hear. Stay tuned for more captivating adventures that bring the timeless lessons of faith, courage, and God's love to life. Until next time, keep believing.
It's not for children. Where is your biscuit?
In a land where dreams danced on the wings
Stories
of the
you'd
wind,
like to
and the
hear.
stars whispered
Stay
secrets to
tuned
those
for
who
more
dared to
captivating
listen.
adventures
There
that
lived a
bring the
young boy
timeless
named
lessons of
Zechariah.
faith, courage,
One
and
night,
God's love
as
to
the
life.
moon cast its silvery glow
Until
over the
next
ancient city
time,
of
keep
Jerusalem,
believing.
Zechariah had a vision that would change his life forever. This is the story of that dreams danced on the wings of the
Stories you'd
wind,
like to
and the
hear.
stars whispered
Stay
secrets to
tuned
those
for
who
more
dared to
captivating
listen.
adventures
There
that
lived a
bring the
young boy
timeless
named
lessons of
Zechariah, was a
faith,
curious
courage,
boy,
and
always
God's
eager
love
to
to
explore
life.
the world its silvery glow
Until
over the
next
ancient city
time,
of
keep
Jerusalem. As he
believing.
wandered through the quiet streets of Jerusalem, he noticed a strange figure standing. This is the story where dreams danced on the wings of the
Stories you'd like to hear.
wind.
Stay tuned for more captivating adventures that bring the timeless lessons of faith, courage, and God's love to life. Until next time, keep believing.
Zechariah had a vision that would change his life. He noticed a strange figure standing. This is the story where I am an angel sent by the
Stories you'd like to hear. Stay tuned for more captivating adventures that bring the timeless lessons of faith, courage, and God's love to life. Until next time, keep believing.
Zechariah had a vision that would change his life. Strange figure standing. This is the story where I am an angel sent by the
Stories you'd like to hear. Stay tuned for more captivating adventures that bring the timeless lessons of faith, courage, and God's love to life. Until next time, keep believing.
Strange figure standing.
Stories you'd like to hear. Stay tuned for more captivating adventures adventures that bring the timeless lessons of faith, courage, and God's love to life. Until next time, keep believing.
Zechariah found the search for his angels
Stay tuned for more captivating adventures that bring the timeless lessons of faith, courage, and God's love to life. Until next time, keep believing. Stay tuned for more captivating adventures that bring the timeless lessons of faith, courage, and God's love to life. Until next time, keep believing.
Angel now.
Stay tuned for more captivating adventures that bring the timeless lessons of faith, courage, and God's love to life. Until next time, keep believing.
Parts of it. Angels struggling to rebuild their homes. Children playing in the loft, and others praying for a better future.
Stay tuned for more captivating adventures that bring the timeless lessons of faith, courage, and God's love to life.
Wait, now what is this?
But they must also trust in the Lord's promise. As they walked, Zechariah noticed a group of people arguing over how to rebuild a section of the wall. The angels watched silently, their expressions thoughtful. Sometimes, the greatest challenges come from within, the second angel said. But with unity and faith, even the most difficult obstacles can be overcome.
That people are just dying like this, anyhow.
Just as Zechariah began to feel hopeful, a shadow fell over the city. He turned to see a group of dark figures lurking in the distance, their eyes filled with malice. "Who are they?" Zechariah asked, his heart pounding. The first angel's face grew serious. "They are enemies of Jerusalem, seeking to destroy what the people are trying to rebuild. But fear not, for the Lord is with us." Zechariah watched as the angels confronted the dark figures, their golden measuring lines glowing with divine light. The enemies recoiled, their sinister plans thwarted by the power of the Lord. As dawn broke over Jerusalem, Zechariah and the angels returned to the heart of the city. The people were gathered, their faces filled with hope and determination. The first angel raised the golden measuring line high above his head. "Behold, the Lord's promise of restoration," he proclaimed. A brilliant light enveloped the city, and Zechariah watched in awe as the walls began to rebuild themselves, stone by stone. The streets filled with people, laughter, and joy, just as the angel had foretold. Zechariah stood in the center of the bustling city, his heart filled with gratitude and wonder. The angels had shown him the power of faith, unity, and the Lord's promise. "Remember," the first angel said, "this is just the beginning. The people of Jerusalem must continue to trust in the Lord and work together to keep their city strong." Zechariah nodded, his eyes shining with determination. "I will never forget," he promised. And so, the vision of the measuring line became a reality. Jerusalem was restored, and its people flourished under the Lord's protection. Zechariah's journey had taught him the importance of faith, unity, and the power of divine promises. As the sun set over the vibrant city, Zechariah knew that the future was bright, and the promise of restoration would continue to guide and inspire generations to come. The story of Zechariah and the vision of the measuring line reminds us that even in the darkest times, there is always hope. With faith, determination, and unity, we can overcome any obstacle and build a brighter future. Just as the people of Jerusalem trusted in the Lord's promise, we too can find strength and inspiration in our faith and the power of divine guidance. I hope you enjoyed this whimsical and vibrant retelling of Zechariah's vision.
Okay, please, what are they fighting for? Because this fight can't be normal. They have to be fighting for something. What exactly
In a
is
land
the
where
point of
dreams and
contention?
visions danced like fireflies in the night, there lived a young boy named Zechariah. He was no ordinary boy. He had a heart full of faith and eyes that could see beyond the ordinary. One starry night, as Zechariah lay under the sky, he felt a gentle nudge. It was the angel that visited him, bringing messages from the heavens. Zechariah, the angel whispered, "Look up and see what is approaching." Zechariah's eyes widened with excitement. "What is it?" he asked, his voice trembling with anticipation. The angel pointed to the horizon where a strange, glowing basket floated in the air. "This," the angel said, "is a vision of the iniquity of the people throughout the land." Zechariah's heart pounded as he watched the basket drift closer. It was no ordinary basket. It shimmered with an eerie light,
But they
and
will
a
not ask
heavy
her what she's
weave
doing
cover
there.
sealed its contents. The angel's words echoed in his mind, filling him with a
You'll
mix of
find a way to save them
curiosity
so
and
they won't mind
dread.
again.
"Why is it glowing?" Zechariah asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The angel's eyes sparkled with wisdom. "This basket holds the sins of the people, Zechariah. It is a symbol of wickedness that must be dealt with." As the basket hovered before them, the lead cover slowly lifted, revealing a woman sitting inside. Her eyes were dark and piercing, and her presence sent shivers down Zechariah's spine. "This is wickedness," the angel declared, pushing the woman back
Are they
into the
not
basket
finishing?
and sealing it shut. "She must be contained and
Where are they
removed from
coming?
the
As in these
land."
people, these white people.
Zechariah's mind raced with questions. Where will she go? What will happen to her? The angel smiled gently. "Two women with wings like those of a stork will carry the basket to the land of Shinar, where a house will be built for it. There, wickedness will be confined." As if on cue, two majestic women with stork-like wings appeared. Their
Stupid person
feathers
jumped and
glistened
still
in the
burns.
moonlight. They
Are
lifted
they
the
dumb?
basket effortlessly, and with a
They don't
powerful
die.
flap of their wings, they soared into the sky. Zechariah watched in awe as the basket disappeared into the distance. Will she ever return? He wondered aloud. The angel placed a reassuring hand on Zechariah's shoulder. "Fear not, young one. Wickedness will be confined, and the land will be cleansed. But remember, it is up to the people to keep their hearts pure and free from sin." The journey to Shinar was long and treacherous. The two women flew over mountains and valleys, through storms and sunshine, never faltering in their mission. The basket remained sealed, its contents hidden from the world. In the land
And
of
she can't talk,
Shinar,
so she's not allowed
a
to make a
grand
sound.
temple was being built. It was a place of darkness and deceit, where wickedness would be enshrined. The people of Shinar, unaware of the basket's true nature, welcomed it with open arms, believing it to be a gift from the gods. As the women
These people,
descended,
they are,
the
they are
basket
relenting.
glowed brighter, casting
They are
eerie
sleeping.
shadows on the temple
Eh?
walls. They placed it
Eh?
gently on a
Look at me.
pedestal, and the
Don't
lead
question it.
cover was lifted once
Never
more.
this way.
Wickedness emerged, her eyes gleaming with malice. Back in his homeland, Zechariah couldn't shake the feeling that
But
something
leave the
was
phone now.
amiss.
Are you resting
He
and
prayed
watching this?
fervently, seeking
He wanted to check
guidance
if it's
and
charging.
strength. One night, as he slept, he had a vivid dream. In it, he saw the temple in Shinar and the woman of wickedness spreading her influence far and wide. Zechariah knew he had to act. With the angel by his side, he embarked on a journey to Shinar, determined to confront wickedness and restore peace to the land. The path was fraught with danger, but Zechariah's faith never wavered. Upon reaching Shinar, Zechariah was horrified to see the temple engulfed in darkness. Wickedness had taken root, and her influence was spreading like wildfire. The people were lost, their hearts consumed by sin. Zechariah entered the temple, his heart pounding with determination. Wickedness stood before him, her eyes filled with contempt. "You cannot defeat me," she hissed. "I am the embodiment of sin,
So she's
and
talking
I
now.
will reign forever." Zechariah stood tall, his voice unwavering. "You may be powerful, but my faith is stronger. I will not let you corrupt this land." With a prayer on his lips, Zechariah raised his hands, and a brilliant light filled the temple. Wickedness recoiled, her form flickering and fading. The light grew brighter, banishing the darkness and purifying the temple. As the light subsided, Zechariah saw that the temple was transformed. The darkness was gone, replaced by a warm, golden glow. The people of Shinar, freed from wickedness's grasp, looked around in wonder, their hearts filled with hope. The angel appeared beside Zechariah, a proud smile on his face. "You have done well, young one. Your faith has triumphed over sin, and the land is cleansed." Zechariah felt a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that the battle against wickedness was not over, but he also knew that with faith and determination, he could overcome any challenge. Zechariah returned to his homeland, where he shared his story with the people. They listened in awe, their hearts inspired by his bravery and faith. The vision of the woman in the basket became a symbol of hope and a reminder of the power of faith. From that day forward, the people vowed to keep
That's
their
what she wanted
hearts
to be
pure
interested.
and free from sin. They built a monument in honor of Zechariah's journey, a beacon of light that shone brightly in the night, guiding them on the path of righteousness. And so, the land flourished, its people united in their faith and determination to keep wickedness at bay. Zechariah's story was passed down through generations, a timeless tale of courage, faith, and the triumph of light over darkness. And so, dear friends, we come to the end of our whimsical adventure with Zechariah and the mysterious basket. But before we say goodbye, let's think about the important lessons we've learned from this story. Faith overcomes all. Just like Zechariah, we can face any challenge with faith and determination. Remember, no matter how big or scary something seems, our faith can light the way. Stay pure and true. The basket symbolized sin, and Zechariah's journey reminds us to keep our hearts pure and free from wickedness. Always choose kindness, honesty, and love. Courage and bravery. Zechariah showed great bravery in confronting wickedness. We can be brave too, standing up for what is right and helping others. The power of light. Light always triumphs over darkness. When we spread love and goodness, we can make the world a brighter place. In the quiet town of Bethel, nestled between rolling hills and lush meadows, lived a young boy named Zechariah. He was known for his curious nature and his love for exploring the mysteries of the world around him. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Zechariah found himself wandering near the edge of the forest. Little did he know, this night would change his life forever. As Zechariah ventured deeper into the woods, he stumbled upon a clearing bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. In the center of the clearing stood a majestic white horse, its coat shimmering like 1,000 stars. Zechariah's heart raced with excitement and a hint of fear. He had never seen such a magnificent creature before. "Who are you?" Zechariah whispered, his voice trembling with awe. The horse turned its head, and to Zechariah's astonishment, it spoke. "I am a messenger of the Lord, sent to reveal a vision to you, young Zechariah. Do not be afraid, for you are chosen to witness the presence of God." Zechariah's eyes widened with wonder. A vision?
2
What kind of
a.m.
vision? The horse
Did you
nodded,
give him phone?
its eyes filled with wisdom. A vision of horses, each representing a different aspect of God's presence and power. "Come, follow me, and you shall see." With a mixture of excitement and curiosity, Zechariah followed the white horse deeper into the forest. As they walked, the trees seemed to part, creating a path that led to a hidden glade. In the center of the glade stood 4 horses, each more magnificent than the last. The first horse was a brilliant red, its mane flowing like flames. "This is the horse of war," the white horse explained. "It symbolizes God's power to protect and defend his people." The second horse was a deep black, its eyes gleaming with mystery. "This is the horse of famine," the white horse continued. "It represents the trials and challenges that God allows to strengthen our faith." The third horse was a radiant white, its coat as pure as snow. "This is the horse of victory," the white horse said. "It signifies God's triumph over evil and his promise of salvation." The fourth horse was a pale green, its presence both eerie and calming. "This is the horse of death," the white horse concluded. "It reminds us of the cycle of life and the eternal peace that awaits those who trust in the Lord." Zechariah stood in awe, his heart filled with a sense of wonder and reverence. "What does this vision mean?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The white horse stepped closer, its eyes meeting Zechariah's. "It means that God is always with us, in times of war and peace, in moments of trial and victory, in life and in death. He is our protector, our guide, and our eternal hope." The horses circled around Zechariah, their hooves barely touching the ground. He could feel their power and majesty, and he knew that he was in the presence of something truly divine. "Welcome, Zechariah," the red horse said, its voice like the crackling of a fire. "We are the messengers of the Lord, sent to reveal his presence and power to you." Zechariah's heart swelled with awe and gratitude. "What do you want me to do?" he asked, his voice trembling with emotion. The black horse stepped forward, its eyes gleaming with a mysterious light. "You are to share this vision with your people, to remind them that God is always with them, in times of war and peace, in moments of trial and victory, in life and in death." The white horse nodded, its coat shimmering like freshly fallen snow. "You are to be a beacon of hope and faith, a reminder that no matter the trials they face, they are never alone, for God is always with them." The pale green horse stepped closer, its presence both eerie and calming. "You are to trust in the Lord's plan, even when it seems difficult or uncertain, for he is our protector, our guide, and our eternal hope." Zechariah felt a warmth in his heart. a reassurance that he was never alone. He knew that this experience was a gift, a reminder of God's presence in his life. With a grateful heart, Zechariah returned to his village, eager to share his vision with others. He knew that the story of the horses would inspire faith and courage in the hearts of all who heard it. As Zechariah made his way back to Bethel, he couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and purpose. The vision of the horses had filled him with a newfound sense of faith and determination. He knew that he had been chosen for a special mission, and he was eager to fulfill it. The journey home was not without its challenges. The forest, which had seemed so enchanting earlier, now felt dark and foreboding. Strange sounds echoed through the trees, and shadows seemed to dance at the edge of his vision. But Zechariah pressed on, his heart filled with the knowledge that God was with him. As he walked, he thought about the people of Bethel and how they would react to his story. Would they believe him? Would they understand the significance of the vision? He hoped that his words would inspire them, just as the vision had inspired him. When he finally emerged from the forest, the village of Bethel lay before him, bathed in the soft light of dawn. The sight filled him with a sense of peace and belonging. This was his home, and these were his people. Zechariah wasted no time in gathering the villagers together. He stood in the center of the town square, his heart pounding with anticipation. As the people gathered around him, he took a deep breath and began to speak. "My friends," he began, his voice steady and strong, "I have seen a vision of horses that represent the presence and power of God. They have shown me that God is always with us, in times of war and peace, in moments of trial and victory, in life and in death." The villagers listened in rapt attention as Zechariah recounted his journey into the forest and the vision he had witnessed. He described each horse in vivid detail, their colors and their meanings. He spoke of the red horse of war, the black horse of famine, and so, the story of Zechariah and the vision of the horses became a cherished tale, passed down from generation to generation. It was a story of adventure, bravery, and faith. A reminder that no matter what challenges they faced, they were never alone, for God was always with them. Dear kids, here's what we learned from Zechariah's amazing adventure. Just like the horses in Zechariah's vision, God is with us in every part of our lives, in good times and bad, in moments of joy and sadness. We are never alone. Zechariah's curiosity led him to a magical adventure. Don't be afraid to explore and ask questions. You never know what amazing things you might discover. Share your stories. Zechariah shared his vision with his village, and it inspired everyone. Your stories and experiences can help others too. Don't be shy to share them. Trust in God's plan. Even when things seem difficult or uncertain, remember that God has a plan for you. Trust in Him, and He will guide you through every challenge. Celebrate together. The villagers celebrated Zechariah's vision together. It's important to come together with friends and family to celebrate and support each other. Remember, kids, just like Zechariah, you have the power to inspire and bring hope to those around you. Keep your hearts open, stay curious, and always trust in God's love. I hope you enjoyed the story and the lessons we learned. If you have any more stories or adventures you'd like to hear,
in the bustling streets of ancient Israel, there lived a spirited young girl named Junia. Her eyes sparkled like the Mediterranean Sea, and her heart beat in rhythm with the temple drums. Junia had a secret, a divine calling that set her apart. Inspired by Romans 16:7, where Junia is mentioned as an outstanding apostle, our enchanting tale unfolds. One day, while chasing after her pet goat, Junia stumbled upon a fig tree. Its leaves shimmered like emerald flames. Beneath its roots lay a scroll, the edges aglow with celestial light. The words etched upon it danced, to spread love. Junia, you must break barriers. Deeper into the olive grove, Junia met the talking trees. Their gnarled trunks whispered secrets. Listen, Junia, said Olive, to spread God's word. You must sway with the wind and sing with the wind and sing with the crickets. Fig added, and dance with the fireflies, they carry hope. Junia nodded, her sandals dusted with earth. She vowed to be an Israelite apostle like no other. High above the Jordan River, Junia found the Rainbow Bridge, a shimmering path of 7 hues. It led to 2 ancient cedars, Andronicus and Junia, their branches intertwined, whispering forgotten psalms. We were apostles too, they said. Before scrolls, before prophets. Junia stepped onto the bridge, her heart echoing the promise of covenant. Under the ancient olive tree, Junia closed her eyes. The wind carried stories, the laughter of children, the cries of widows, the dreams of prophets. Junia whispered back, God's love is like the breeze, touching every heart. The leaves rustled in agreement. Junia knew her mission to break barriers, spread love, and be the girl apostle who danced with the elements. As Junia followed the Rainbow Bridge, she heard the distant murmur of water. The mystical river flowed, a silver ribbon between worlds. Its ripples held memories, the laughter of ancestors, the tears of prophets, and the dreams of children. Junia cupped her hands, sipping the sacred waters. They tasted like eternity. Word spread across the hills and valleys. Children gathered around campfires, listening to Junia's adventures. They learned that barriers could be bridges and faith could be shared by all, even spirited Israelite girls. Inspired by Romans 16:7, Junia became a legend, her name woven into the ancient tapestry of love. Dear friends, remember that love breaks barriers. If you enjoyed Junia's journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this whimsical tale with others. Thank you for joining us on this magical quest.
Galatians 5 verses 22 to 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. In a land far, far away, nestled between rolling hills and sparkling rivers, lay the enchanting village of Harmony. This village was unlike any other, for it was said to be blessed by the Spirit itself. The villagers lived in peace and joy, their hearts filled with love and kindness. But how did this come to be? Let me take you on a whimsical journey to uncover the mystery of the fruits of the Spirit. One sunny morning, young Lily, a curious and brave girl of 10, discovered an ancient map hidden in her grandmother's attic. The map was old and tattered, but it clearly marked a path leading to the legendary tree of the Spirit. It was said that whoever found this tree would uncover the secret to true happiness and harmony. With a heart full of excitement, Lily set off on her adventure, her loyal dog Max by her side. The path was filled with twists and turns, leading them through dense forests and across bubbling brooks. As they ventured deeper into the unknown, they encountered a wise old owl named Oliver. Who dares to seek the tree of the Spirit? Oliver hooted, his eyes twinkling with curiosity. It is I, Lily, and my faithful friend Max. We seek the secret to true happiness and harmony, Lily replied bravely. Oliver nodded sagely. To find the tree of the Spirit, you must first understand bears. Each fruit holds a powerful lesson. Are you ready for the challenge? Lily nodded eagerly, and so their journey continued. The first fruit they encountered was the fruit of love. It glowed with a warm, golden light. As Lily reached out to touch it, she was transported to a scene where a young boy shared his lunch with a hungry stranger. The act of kindness filled her heart with warmth, and she understood the power of love. Next, they found the fruit of joy, which sparkled like 1,000 diamonds. Lily was whisked away to a village festival, where laughter and music filled the air. She danced with the villagers, feeling the pure joy that comes from being surrounded by loved ones. The journey continued, each fruit revealing a new lesson. The fruit of peace brought her to a serene meadow where animals of all kinds lived in harmony. The fruit of patience showed her a farmer tending to his crops with care and diligence. The fruit of kindness led her to a scene where a young girl helped an elderly woman carry her heavy bags. As Lily collected each fruit, she felt her heart grow lighter and her spirit stronger. But the final challenge awaited her. The path led to a dark and foreboding cave, where the fruit of self-control was hidden. Inside the cave, Lily faced her greatest fears and temptations. But with Max by her side and the lessons of the other fruits in her heart, she emerged victorious. At last, Lily and Max reached the tree of the Spirit. It stood tall and majestic, its branches heavy with the fruits of the Spirit. As Lily touched the tree, a radiant light enveloped her, and she understood the true meaning of the fruits. They were not just gifts to be received, but virtues to be lived and shared. With a heart full of wisdom and a spirit brimming with joy, Lily returned to harmony. She shared her newfound knowledge with the villagers, and together, they nurtured the fruits of the Spirit in their hearts. The village flourished, and the blessings of the Spirit spread far and wide. And so, the legend of the fruits of the Spirit lived on, a timeless tale of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. For in the end, it is these virtues that bring true happiness and harmony to our lives. The fruits of the Spirit are powerful virtues that, when nurtured in our hearts, bring true happiness and harmony. By living and sharing these virtues, we can create a world filled with love, joy, and peace. Remember, dear reader, the fruits of the Spirit are within you. Embrace them, live them, and share them with the world. For it is through these virtues that we can make our world a better place.
She should go.
Jesus painted a picture
Where is
with
she
his
going now?
words, describing a sower who set out early in the morning, a sack of seeds slung over his shoulder. The sower was no ordinary farmer. He was a figure of mystery, with a cloak that shimmered like the dawn and a smile that hinted at secrets. The first handful of seeds was tossed high into the air, glittering like golden stars as they fell. But some of the seeds, instead of landing in the soft soil, were caught by the wind and scattered onto a hard, dusty path. The children gasped as Jesus described the path, a place where danger lurked around every corner. The ground was rough and unyielding, and as soon as the seeds landed, a flock of hungry birds swooped down, their beady eyes gleaming with mischief. Chirp, chirp, the birds cawed as they gobbled up the seeds, not leaving a single one behind. The seeds never had a chance to grow. They were gone in an instant, leaving the path as barren as before. But what happens next? A little girl asked, her voice filled with concern.
Jesus smiled gently. Ah, that is the question, isn't it? But let's not jump ahead. The sower still has many seeds to plant. Undeterred by the loss of the first seeds, the sower continued on his way, his steps light and full of hope. This time, he scattered his seeds over a patch of land that looked promising from a distance. But as the seeds fell, they landed on rocky ground, where the soil was thin and the stones were sharp. The seeds sprouted quickly, their tiny green shoots stretching toward the sky. The children cheered as they imagined the little plants growing strong and tall. But their cheers turned to gasps as Jesus described what happened next. The sun blazed down from above, its rays fierce and unforgiving. The plants, with their shallow roots, began to wither. There was no deep soil to protect them, no moisture to nourish them. The plants drooped and shriveled under the scorching heat. The rocky ground couldn't hold the seeds, Jesus said softly. They started strong but couldn't survive the trials of the day. A boy in the crowd frowned. Why didn't the sower choose better ground? Why did the seeds have to suffer? Jesus nodded, his expression thoughtful. Sometimes, the ground looks good from a distance, but it's not until you get closer that you see the challenges. But the sower's journey isn't over yet. The sower moved on, his heart still full of hope, and soon he came upon a patch of earth that was dark and rich. It seemed like the perfect place for the seeds to grow. The sower smiled as he scattered the next handful, watching them sink into the soft soil. But as the seeds began to grow, something unexpected happened. From the shadows, thick, twisting thorns began to rise, their sharp points glinting ominously in the sunlight. The children gasped, gripping the edges of their seats as they imagined the thorns closing in on the tender plants. The plants grew, but so did the thorns, faster and fiercer than anyone had expected. The thorns wrapped around the plants, choking them, stealing their sunlight and water. No matter how hard the plants tried to escape, the thorns tightened their grip until the plants could grow no more. The thorns are like the worries and distractions of life, Jesus explained, his voice tinged with sadness. They can choke out the seeds of faith if we're not careful. A hush fell over the crowd. The children looked at each other, wide-eyed, as they imagined their own worries and fears being like those terrible thorns. Could it happen to them?
Is that macaroni?
Would their seeds of
Cook
faith be
macaroni.
choked out too?
I will buy.
But
We'll buy
before they
tomorrow.
could
Shall we
ponder
set it
too
tomorrow?
long, Jesus' voice lifted, full of hope and promise. The sower, still determined, continued on his journey. And finally, he came upon a field that was different from all the rest. The soil here was rich and deep, soft and warm under the sower's feet. It was as if the earth itself was welcoming the seeds, ready to help them grow. With a joyful heart, the sower scattered the last of his seeds, watching as they nestled into the good soil. The children held their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Days passed, and the seeds sprouted, their roots digging deep into the earth. The sun shone, but instead of withering, the plants grew taller and stronger. Rain fell, but instead of washing away, the soil held firm, nourishing the plants. The plants grew and grew until they became a mighty field of grain, golden and heavy with the promise of a bountiful harvest. The children clapped their hands in delight, their worries forgotten as they saw the plants thrive. Jesus smiled, his eyes shining with a wisdom that reached deep into the hearts of his listeners. The good soil is like a heart that is open and ready to receive the seeds of faith. When the seeds fall on good soil, they grow into something amazing, something that can change the world. The story ended, but questions lingered. The children crowded around Jesus, their faces full of curiosity. But what does it mean, a young boy asked. Jesus knelt to the boy's level. The seeds are like God's words, and the soil represents how people respond. Some hear the words but don't take them in, like seeds on a path. Others are like rocky ground, starting strong but losing heart when things get tough. Some let life's worries choke their faith, like thorny ground. But the good soil represents those who hear, understand, and let the words take root, allowing their faith to grow and produce an incredible harvest. The children nodded, eyes bright with understanding. They realized the seeds of faith weren't just to hear about, they were to treasure and nurture in their hearts. As the crowd dispersed, the children stayed close to Jesus, still full of wonder. The setting sun painted the sky in orange and pink, and the lake sparkled like diamonds. A little girl tugged on Jesus's robe. Will our seeds grow too? Will we have a harvest like the sower? Jesus smiled and placed a hand on her head. Your hearts are like good soil. Keep them open and ready, and the seeds of faith will grow. You'll see the harvest in the kindness you show, the love you give, and the hope you spread. The children beamed, imagining their hearts as fields ready to grow something wonderful. As the day ended, the children of Galilee went home with their minds full of adventure and their hearts full of faith. They knew the story of the sower was more than a tale, it was a lesson, a treasure to carry with them as they nurtured their own seeds of faith. Jesus would go, knowing the seeds planted that day would grow into something far greater than anyone could imagine. The seeds of faith, when they find good soil, can change the world, one heart at a time. And so, dear adventurers, as you close this story, remember the seeds of faith that have been planted in your own heart. Nurture them, protect them from the thorns, and let them grow. Who knows what amazing harvest awaits you?
Hey kids! Welcome to our exciting adventure through the ABCZ of God's amazing characters. Today, we're going to discover how God's awesome traits were shown through some incredible Bible heroes. So buckle up, and let's jump right in. Let's start with the letter A for Almighty. God is all-powerful, and guess what? Moses got to see this power in action when God parted the Red Sea. Can you imagine standing there watching the sea split into two huge walls of water? Whoa! God's power is unstoppable. Next, we have B for Blessed. God brings joy and happiness just like Mary, the mother of Jesus. She was so blessed to carry God's own son. She sang songs of joy because she knew how much God loved her, and all of us too. C is for Compassionate. God cares for us so deeply, just like Jesus did when he healed the sick and fed the hungry. Jesus' heart was always full of love and kindness, showing us that God cares for every single one of us. Now we're at D for Defender. God protects us like a shield. David knew this when he faced the giant Goliath. Even though David was just a young shepherd boy, he trusted God to defend him. And guess what? He won with just a sling and a stone. E stands for Everlasting. That means God lives forever and ever. Abraham believed in God's everlasting promise to make his family as numerous as the stars in the sky. And God kept that promise. His love and faithfulness never end. F is for Faithful. God always keeps his promises, just like he did for Sarah. Even though she was very old, God promised she would have a son, and she did. God is faithful, and we can trust him no matter what. G stands for Good Shepherd. God guides and takes care of us just like David cared for his sheep. Later, David became the shepherd of Israel, leading God's people with the same love and care. H is for Holy. which means God is perfect and pure. Isaiah saw a vision of God's holiness with angels all around, singing, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty." God is so pure and wonderful. I is for infinite. God has no limits. He is everywhere and knows everything. Solomon marveled at God's infinite wisdom and asked God to give him wisdom too. And God did, making Solomon the wisest king ever. J is for just. God is always fair and right. Nehemiah knew this when he returned to Jerusalem to rebuild its walls. He fought for justice and fairness, making sure everyone was treated right. K stands for King of Kings. God is the ruler of all. Daniel served under many kings, but he knew that God was the true King of Kings who rules over everything. L is for loving. God loves us more than we can ever imagine. John, the disciple whom Jesus loved, experienced this love firsthand. He taught us that God is love, and that love is the most important thing of all. M is for merciful. God is full of mercy, always ready to forgive. Jonah learned about God's mercy when he forgave the people of Nineveh, even though Jonah thought they didn't deserve it. God's mercy is amazing. N is for near. God is always close to us, just like he was close to Enoch. Enoch walked with God every day and was so close to him that one day he just walked right into heaven. O is for omnipresent. That's a big word that means God is everywhere all the time. Jacob realized this when he had a dream about a ladder reaching to heaven. God was with him no matter where he went. P is for provider. God gives us everything we need, just like he provided food for Elijah during a famine. Ravens brought Elijah bread and meat every day. God always takes care of his people. Q is for quick to listen. God hears our prayers, just like he heard Hannah's prayer for a son. Hannah prayed with all her heart, and God blessed her with Samuel, who became a great prophet. R is for righteous. God is always right and just in everything he does. Job trusted in God's righteousness even when everything seemed to go wrong. He knew that God was good and would take care of him. S is for sovereign. God is in control of everything. Joseph's life was full of ups and downs, but he trusted that God had a plan. And in the end, God's sovereign plan made Joseph a ruler in Egypt, saving many lives. T is for trustworthy. We can always rely on God, just like Noah did when he built the ark. Even though everyone thought he was crazy, Noah trusted God, and God saved him and his family. U is for unchanging. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Paul taught people all over the world that God's love and truth never change no matter what. V is for victorious. God wins over all things, just like Joshua, who led the Israelites to victory in the promised land. With God on their side, nothing could stop them. W is for wise. God knows everything and guides us in the right way, just like he did for Solomon. Solomon asked for wisdom, and God made him the wisest king ever. X is for excellent. God is perfect in every way, just like Daniel, who showed excellence in everything he did. Daniel's love for God made him stand out as the best in the kingdom. Y is for Yahweh, God's special name that means I am. When Moses met God at the burning bush, God told him his name was Yahweh, showing that he is the eternal, unchanging God. And finally, Z is for zealous. God is passionate about loving and protecting us, just like Phinehas, who was zealous for God's holiness and helped keep Israel on the right path. Wow, wasn't that an amazing journey through the ABCZ of God's characters? Each of these traits shows us just how awesome God is and how he worked through these incredible Bible heroes. Thanks for joining us, kids. And remember, God's amazing characters are with us every day. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more fun Bible adventures. See you next time. Bye-bye, kids. Keep shining with God's love.
Ephesians 6 verses 10 to 18. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. In the magical land of Faithville, where ancient castles towered over enchanted forests and shimmering rivers, the villagers lived harmoniously, knowing that shadows sometimes crept near. But a thrilling announcement promised to make their lives even more exciting. A legendary knight named Sir Gabriel was coming to teach them how to stand strong in faith with the armor of God. The village square buzzed with excitement as the children of Faithville gathered, their eyes sparkling with anticipation. Among them was young Thomas, a boy whose heart brimmed with curiosity and a thirst for adventure. He had heard tales of Sir Gabriel's heroism and eagerly awaited the chance to meet him. As dawn's golden rays kissed the village, Sir Gabriel made his grand entrance on a magnificent white horse. His armor glistened in the sunlight, and his eyes twinkled with wisdom and kindness. "Greetings, brave villagers." Sir Gabriel's voice was as warm as the morning sun. "Today, I will reveal the secrets of the armor of God so you can stand firm in faith and face any challenge." The children, including Thomas, listened with bated breath, eager to learn the mysteries of the armor of God. The first piece of armor, Sir Gabriel began, is the belt of truth. It helps us stand firm in what is right and true. Thomas envisioned a shimmering belt that empowered him to always tell the truth and champion what is right. He felt a surge of determination, knowing that truth was a mighty force. The second piece of armor, Sir Gabriel continued, is the breastplate of righteousness. It guards our hearts and helps us live in ways that please God. Thomas imagined a sturdy breastplate that shielded his heart and guided him toward making good choices. He felt a wave of peace, knowing that righteousness would protect him from harm. The third piece of armor, Sir Gabriel said, is the shoes of peace. They help us walk in peace and share God's love with others. Thomas pictured magical shoes that let him stride confidently and spread kindness wherever he went. He felt a burst of joy, knowing that peace was a gift he could share with everyone. The fourth piece of armor, Sir Gabriel explained, is the shield of faith. It protects us from doubt and fear. Thomas envisioned a powerful shield that deflected any attack and gave him the bravery to face his fears. He felt a rush of courage, knowing that faith was his greatest ally. The fifth piece of armor, Sir Gabriel continued, is the helmet of salvation. It safeguards our minds and reminds us of God's love and salvation. Thomas pictured a gleaming helmet that filled his thoughts with hope and confidence. He felt reassured, knowing that salvation was a precious gift from God. The final piece of armor, Sir Gabriel said, is the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. It helps us fight against evil and stand firm in our faith. Thomas imagined a radiant sword that shone with divine light, empowering him to overcome any challenge. He felt invigorated, knowing that God's word was his strongest weapon. Just as Sir Gabriel demonstrated the last piece of armor, a sudden gust of wind swept through the square. The children gasped as the cloths with the armor flapped wildly, and, oh no, the breastplate of righteousness had vanished. Alas! Sir Gabriel exclaimed, his brow creasing with worry. It appears we have a mystery to solve. The breastplate of righteousness is missing. Thomas's eyes sparkled with resolve. Don't worry, Sir Gabriel. I'll help find it. The quest began. Thomas, Sir Gabriel, and the children searched high and low, through blooming meadows, around ancient oak trees, and even by the bubbling brook. Every nook and cranny of Faithville was explored, but the breastplate was nowhere to be found. Their search led them to the edge of the enchanted forest, a realm known for its whimsical creatures and hidden wonders. The forest was alive with whispering trees and twinkling lights, casting playful shadows. Deep in the forest, they encountered a mischievous sprite named Pip, whose eyes gleamed with mischief. Looking for something, are we? Pip chirped. I might have seen a shiny breastplate, but you'll have to solve my riddle to retrieve it. The children gathered around Pip, eager to tackle his riddle. After much thinking and teamwork, Thomas solved the riddle with a triumphant shout. Impressed, Pip handed over the breastplate of righteousness. With the breastplate safely returned, Sir Gabriel and the children made their way back to the village. Just as they were about to resume their lesson, a dark shadow loomed over Faithville. An ominous sorcerer appeared, thriving on spreading doubt and fear. The armor of God will not protect you, the sorcerer sneered, conjuring swirling shadows that threatened to envelop the village. Sir Gabriel stood firm and calm. Everyone, quickly, put on the armor. Thomas and the other children donned the armor pieces with determination. As they stood united, the belt of truth tightened, the breastplate of righteousness shone brightly, the shoes of peace steadied their steps, the shield of faith glimmered, the helmet of salvation protected their minds, and the sword of the Spirit sparkled with divine light. With the full armor on, Thomas and the villagers felt a surge of courage and strength. They confronted the sorcerer, their hearts brimming with unwavering faith. The shield of faith repelled the sorcerer's dark magic, while the sword of the Spirit sliced through the shadows with its radiant light. Defeated by the power of the armor and the unity of the villagers, the sorcerer fled into the darkness, vanishing without a trace. As the sun set over Faithville, the villagers erupted in cheers. Sir Gabriel, beaming with pride, praised Thomas and the children. You have learned how to stand strong in faith. Remember, with the armor of God, you are always protected. The villagers celebrated with a grand feast, and Thomas, his heart full of joy, knew he had learned a priceless lesson. The armor of God was not just for battles but a powerful reminder to stand firm in faith, no matter what challenges lay ahead. Life in Faithville returned to its peaceful rhythm, but adventure was not far off. One misty morning, Thomas and his friends noticed something odd. The village fountain's clear waters had turned murky, and a chilling mist swirled around it. Thomas, ever curious, spotted something glittering beneath the surface, a shadowy artifact. The village elders, alarmed, called upon Sir Gabriel. With a knowing nod, Sir Gabriel gathered Thomas and a few others. This artifact might be dark magic. We must investigate to protect Faithville. Sir Gabriel led the children back to the enchanted forest, where the mist thickened and shadows danced. They discovered the artifact was an ancient talisman, its magic creating illusions and obstacles. They faced a torrent-filled river, a maze of talking trees, and riddles from a wise old owl. Each challenge tested their faith and teamwork. The shield of faith kept their spirits high, the shoes of peace guided them through conflicts, and the sword of the Spirit cleared confusion. Finally, they reached a hidden glade, where the artifact lay encased in a protective barrier. Sir Gabriel, using his knowledge of magic and the armor of God, revealed the talisman was cursed to weaken Faithville's faith. With a powerful prayer and resolute stand, they neutralized its magic, restoring clarity and peace. To celebrate their victory and newfound understanding, Faithville held a grand festival of faith. The village burst with joy and color. Villagers wore vibrant costumes and engaged in games symbolizing the virtues of the armor of God, relay races with the shield of faith, treasure hunts with the belt of truth, and storytelling sessions with the sword of the Spirit. Thomas, honored as a young hero, received a miniature set of the armor of God, symbolizing his bravery and faith. As the festival drew to a close, Sir Gabriel prepared to leave Faithville. The villagers gathered to bid him farewell, their hearts full of gratitude. "Remember, my young friends," Sir Gabriel said, "the armor of God is more than physical protection. It's a reminder of your inner strength and faith. With it, you can face any challenge." Thomas, holding his miniature armor, promised to always remember the lessons learned. He knew faith was not just about facing external challenges but nurturing courage and trust within. As Sir Gabriel rode away, the villagers watched with fondness. They felt a deep unity and resilience, knowing the true armor of God was in their hearts and actions. Faithville continued to thrive, a beacon of hope and courage. And Thomas, with his friends, embraced each new day with faith as their shield, righteousness as their breastplate, truth as their belt, peace as their shoes, salvation as their helmet, and God's word as their sword. In the land of Faithville, where faith and friendship flourished, every challenge became an opportunity for growth, and every adventure a testament to the enduring power of the armor of God.
In the ancient land of Israel, where the sun shone brightly and the trees whispered secrets to the wind, a great excitement buzzed through the town of Jericho. It was a day like no other, for the people had heard whispers of an amazing event that was about to happen. The legendary prophet Elijah, known for his miracles and fiery spirit, was going to be taken up to heaven in a whirlwind. Elijah, the fearless prophet, had a faithful companion named Elisha. Elisha was a young man with a heart full of curiosity and a spirit of adventure. He had learned much from Elijah and sensed that something extraordinary was about to happen. One sunny morning, as Elijah and Elisha walked along the dusty road, Elisha couldn't contain his excitement. "Master, is it true that today the Lord will take you away in a whirlwind?" he asked. Elijah smiled, his eyes sparkling with a secret knowledge. "Yes, Elisha, the time has come for me to be taken up to heaven. But stay by my side, for there are many wonders yet to be revealed." As they journeyed from town to town, they met a group of lively characters in the bustling market of Bethel. There was Tilly the tortoise, who loved to tell tall tales, and Benny the bunny, who could hop higher than anyone else. They gathered around Elisha, their faces filled with curiosity. "Do you know that the Lord is going to take your master from you today?" Tilly asked, her eyes wide. Elisha nodded, his resolve unwavering. "Yes, I know. But let's not speak of it just yet." With each step, the anticipation grew stronger. The wind seemed to whisper secrets of the heavenly chariot that awaited Elijah, a chariot made of fiery flames and pulled by majestic horses. The very thought sent shivers of excitement down Elisha's spine. The sun climbed higher in the sky as Elijah and Elisha approached the town of Jericho. The air was thick with anticipation, and even the birds seemed to sing with a sense of wonder. In Jericho, they were greeted by another group of prophets, including Misha the mischievous monkey and Zara the zealous zebra. "Do you know that the Lord is going to take your master from you today?" Misha asked, hanging upside down from a tree. Once again, Elisha affirmed his knowledge and asked them to keep silent. His heart was set on witnessing the miraculous event, and nothing could deter him. As they left Jericho and journeyed towards the river Jordan, Elijah turned to Elisha with a knowing look. "Stay here, Elisha. The Lord has sent me to the Jordan." But Elisha, determined and steadfast, replied, "As surely as the Lord lives and as you live, I will not leave you." Elijah nodded, respecting his young companion's resolve. Together, they continued their journey until they reached the banks of the Jordan River. The water flowed swiftly, a symbol of the boundary between the earthly and the divine. With a dramatic flourish, Elijah took off his cloak and rolled it up. He struck the water with it, and to Elisha's amazement, the waters parted, creating a dry path for them to cross. They stepped onto the river, walking through the miracle that echoed the parting of the Red Sea. Once they reached the other side, Elijah turned to Elisha with a gentle smile. "Tell me, what can I do for you before I am taken from you?" Elisha's eyes sparkled with determination. "Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit." Elijah's gaze held a mixture of pride and sorrow. "You have asked a difficult thing. Yet, if you see me when I am taken from you, it will be yours, otherwise it will not." The air seemed to hum with electricity as Elijah and Elisha continued their journey. Every step brought them closer to the moment of divine intervention. Suddenly, a whirlwind began to form, its swirling winds kicking up dust and leaves. Elijah and Elisha stood side by side, their hearts pounding with a mixture of awe and anticipation. The sky above darkened, and the ground trembled beneath their feet. It was as if all of creation held its breath, waiting for the miraculous event to unfold. Then, out of the swirling whirlwind, a chariot of fire appeared, blazing with an otherworldly brilliance. Its fiery horses neighed and pawed at the ground, their manes and tails flickering like tongues of flame. The chariot descended from the heavens, a divine vehicle sent to carry Elijah to his eternal home. Elijah turned to Elisha, his face aglow with the light of the fiery chariot. "Remember, Elisha, if you see me when I am taken from you, your request will be granted." Elisha's eyes widened in awe as he watched the chariot draw near. The sound of the fiery horses filled the air, a symphony of power and grace. Elijah stepped forward, his cloak billowing in the wind, and with a final, knowing glance at Elisha, he was lifted up into the chariot. Elijah, my father, the chariots and horsemen of Israel. Elisha cried out, his voice filled with both wonder and sorrow. As Elijah ascended into the heavens, the fiery chariot carried him higher and higher until he was lost to sight. The whirlwind swirled around Elisha, and in that moment he felt a surge of power and anointing. The cloak that had fallen from Elijah fluttered down to the ground, a symbol of the mantle that had been passed on. Elisha stood alone by the riverbank, the cloak of Elijah in his hands. The air was still, the whirlwind had vanished, and the fiery chariot was but a memory. Yet the presence of the Lord was tangible, and Elisha knew that a new chapter of his life had begun. With a heart full of faith and determination, Elisha rolled up Elijah's cloak and struck the waters of the Jordan. "Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" he cried. To his amazement, the waters parted just as they had before, and Elisha crossed over on dry ground. The prophets who had been watching from a distance saw the miracle and hurried to meet him. "The spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha," they said in awe, bowing before him. Elisha knew that the journey ahead would be filled with challenges and miracles, but he was ready. With the mantle of Elijah upon him, he set out to continue the work of his master, performing wonders and proclaiming the word of the Lord. Elisha's first miracle was a sign of the divine power that now rested upon him. The town of Jericho was suffering from a water problem. The spring was tainted, causing illness and death. The townsfolk, knowing of Elisha's anointing, sought his help. Elisha asked for a new bowl and filled it with salt. With a solemn prayer, he sprinkled the salt into the spring, declaring, "This is what the Lord says, I have healed this water. Never again will it cause death or make the land unproductive." To the amazement of all, the water became pure and life-giving. The people of Jericho rejoiced, praising God for the miracle that had come through Elisha. News of Elisha's wonders spread far and wide. From healing a widow's oil to raising a Shunammite woman's son from the dead, Elisha's life was a testament to the power and presence of God. Yet through it all, he never forgot the fiery chariot that had taken his master to heaven, a constant reminder of the divine calling upon his life. Years passed, and Elisha continued to serve as a prophet of the Lord, performing miracles and guiding the people of Israel. His fame grew, but his heart remained humble, always remembering the mantle that had been passed to him. One day, as Elisha sat by the riverbank, where he had last seen Elijah, he reflected on the journey that had brought him there. The memory of the fiery chariot and the whirlwind was as vivid as ever, a reminder of the day when heaven had touched earth in a blaze of glory. "Elijah," he whispered, "your spirit lives on in me. I will continue your work, guided by the same fire that carried you to heaven." And so, the legacy of Elijah burned brightly in the life of Elisha, a beacon of faith, courage, and divine power. The story of Elijah's fiery chariot ride to heaven was told and retold, captivating the hearts of young and old alike, a testament to the wonders of God and the eternal bond between master and disciple. Thus ends the story of Elijah's fiery chariot ride to heaven, a tale of miraculous adventure, unwavering faith, and the eternal power of God's Spirit. May it fill your hearts with wonder and your minds with the courage to believe in the impossible. Wow, wasn't that an amazing adventure? Elijah's fiery chariot ride to heaven was truly spectacular. Remember, just like Elijah and Elisha, we can always have faith and believe in the incredible things God can do. Thanks for joining us on this miraculous journey. If you loved this story, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up, and for more exciting and fun Bible stories, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. See you next time for another amazing adventure. Bye. In the bustling seaside town of Joppa, there lived a woman named Tabitha, also known as Dorcas. She was known throughout the town for her kind heart and her magical ability to make the most beautiful garments. However, Tabitha had a secret that not many knew. Her talents extended beyond mere needlework. She had a gift that could change lives in the most miraculous ways. It was a bright and sunny morning in Joppa. The markets were alive with the chatter of merchants and the clinking of coins. But amidst the hustle and bustle, a small figure darted through the crowds. It was young Sarah, her eyes wide with excitement as she clutched a small bundle close to her chest. She was heading towards Tabitha's house, her heart pounding with hope. Tabitha. Tabitha, Sarah called as she reached the door, her voice echoing through the quiet street. The door creaked open, and there stood Tabitha, her kind eyes twinkling with curiosity. "Why, Sarah? What brings you here so early?" Tabitha asked, her voice as warm as the morning sun. Sarah held out the bundle, her hands trembling. "It's my brother, Benjamin. He's very sick. We don't have money for a doctor. Please, can you help him?" Tabitha gently took the bundle from Sarah, revealing a small, pale boy wrapped in a blanket. His breaths were shallow, and his skin was clammy. Tabitha's heart ached at the sight. "Come inside," child, Tabitha said softly. "We'll see what we can do." Inside Tabitha's home, the air was filled with the scent of fresh bread and herbs. The walls were adorned with beautiful tapestries and garments, each telling a story of its own. Tabitha carefully laid Benjamin on a bed and began to prepare a special mixture of herbs. "Many don't know this, Sarah, but I have a gift," Tabitha said as she worked. "A gift that allows me to bring hope to those who need it the most." Sarah watched in awe as Tabitha's hands moved with grace and precision. The mixture seemed to glow with a faint, magical light. Tabitha placed her hands on Benjamin's forehead and closed her eyes, whispering a prayer. Moments later, Benjamin's breathing steadied and colour returned to his cheeks. Sarah gasped in amazement. He's getting better," she exclaimed, tears of joy streaming down her face. Tabitha smiled and handed Sarah a small vial of the mixture. "Give him this twice a day and he will be well in no time. But remember, Sarah, it is faith that truly heals." News of Benjamin's miraculous recovery spread quickly through Joppa. People began to flock to Tabitha's home, seeking her help for various ailments and troubles. Tabitha welcomed them all with open arms, her heart full of love and compassion. One evening, as Tabitha was sewing a new cloak, a group of children gathered around her, their eyes wide with wonder. "Tell us a story, Tabitha," one of the children pleaded. Tabitha chuckled and put down her needle. Very well. I shall tell you the story of how I discovered my gift. The children leaned in closer, their excitement palpable. It was many years ago, Tabitha began. When I was about your age, I lived in a small village with my parents. One day a terrible storm swept through our village, destroying many homes and leaving families without shelter. Tabitha's voice grew softer, and the children listened intently. My mother was very ill, and we had no money for medicine. I was desperate to help her. One night, as I prayed by her bedside, I felt a warmth in my hands and a light surrounded us. When I touched my mother, the sickness left her and she was healed. The children gasped in awe. From that day on, I knew I had a special gift, a gift from God, and I vowed to use it to help others. One fateful day, a shadow fell over Joppa. A wealthy merchant named Cyrus arrived in town, his heart filled with greed and malice. He had heard of Tabitha's miracles and saw an opportunity to exploit her gift for his own gain. Cyrus approached Tabitha's home with a sly smile. "Greetings, Tabitha. I have heard of your remarkable abilities. I am willing to pay handsomely for your services." Tabitha frowned, sensing the darkness in Cyrus's heart. "My gift is not for sale, Cyrus. It is meant to help those in need, not to line the pockets of the greedy." Cyrus's smile turned to a scowl. "You will regret this, Tabitha. I will make sure of it." With that, Cyrus stormed off, leaving a chill in the air. Tabitha knew she had made a powerful enemy, but her faith remained unwavering. Cyrus was not one to be thwarted easily. He devised a plan to discredit Tabitha and turn the people of Joppa against her. He spread rumors that her miracles were mere tricks and that she was a fraud. One night, as Tabitha was tending to a sick child, a commotion erupted outside her home. A mob had gathered, led by Cyrus. "Tabitha, come out," Cyrus shouted. "Face the people and prove your so-called miracles." Tabitha stepped outside, her heart heavy but her resolve strong. "What do you want, Cyrus?" Cyrus sneered. "If you truly have the gift of healing, then heal this man." He pushed a frail, sickly man forward. Tabitha approached the man, her hands glowing with a gentle light. She placed her hands on his shoulders and whispered a prayer. Moments later, the man's color returned, and he stood up, his strength restored. The crowd gasped in amazement, but Cyrus was not satisfied. "This is a trick. She must be stopped." Just then, a voice rang out from the back of the crowd. Enough, it was Sarah, holding Benjamin's hand. "Tabitha saved my brother's life. She is no fraud." The crowd murmured in agreement, and Cyrus's plan began to crumble. In a fit of rage, he lunged at Tabitha, but the people of Joppa stood firm, protecting her. As the tension reached its peak, a brilliant light filled the sky. The crowd fell silent, and a sense of peace washed over them. An angelic figure appeared, radiating warmth and love. "Fear not, for I am a messenger of the Lord," the angel spoke, their voice soothing and melodic. "Tabitha's gift is true, and she is blessed by God to bring hope to the poor and needy." The crowd knelt in awe, and Cyrus was left trembling with fear. The angel turned to Tabitha and smiled. "Continue your good work, Tabitha. Your faith and kindness shall be rewarded." With that, The angel vanished, leaving the people of Joppa filled with renewed faith and gratitude. From that day on, Tabitha's home became a sanctuary for those in need. The people of Joppa worked together to support her mission, bringing food, supplies, and helping hands. Tabitha's miracles continued to bring hope and healing to all who sought her help. She taught the children about the power of faith and kindness, and her story became a beacon of light for generations to come. One evening, as the sun set over Joppa, Tabitha gathered the children around her once more. "Remember, my dear ones," she said, her voice filled with warmth, "it is not just the miracles that matter, but the love and faith behind them. Never lose hope, for God is always with you." And so, the legend of Tabitha and her miracles lived on, a testament to the power of faith, kindness, and the unwavering belief that even in the darkest of times, there is always a light that shines. Months passed, and Joppa thrived under Tabitha's gentle guidance. One quiet afternoon, as Tabitha was tending her garden, a stranger approached. He was a weary traveller, his clothes tattered and his eyes filled with sorrow. "Please." "Kind lady," the traveller said, his voice hoarse, "I have heard of your miracles. My village is suffering from a terrible plague. Can you help us?" Tabitha's heart went out to the traveller. "Of course. Take me to your village, and we will see what can be done." The journey was long and arduous, but Tabitha's faith never wavered. When they arrived, the sight was heartbreaking. The village was in despair, the people weakened by illness and fear. Tabitha wasted no time. She gathered herbs and began to prepare her healing mixtures. As she worked, she prayed, asking for strength and guidance. For days, Tabitha worked tirelessly, treating the sick and comforting the fearful. Slowly but surely, the villagers began to recover. Their spirits lifted, and hope returned to their hearts. One evening, as Tabitha was preparing to rest, a young girl approached her, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you, Tabitha," the girl whispered. "You saved my family. We thought all hope was lost, but you brought us back from the brink." Tabitha smiled, her heart filled with gratitude. "It is not I who